It was a moment that rocked the sports world. January 2nd of this year, Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin made a routine tackle, but then collapsed on the field during a Monday night football game. He suffered sudden cardiac arrest, and life-saving measures, including more than 20 minutes of on-the-field CPR, is the reason that Damar Hamlin is still alive today. Well, this week right here in San Diego, the Sudden Cardiac Arrest Survival Summit is taking place. It's hosted by Citizens CPR Foundation, and there are experts in town from all over the country. In fact, we have two of them live right here in studio with us today. NFL Executive Vice President of Communications and Policy, Jeff Miller, is joining us, along with Dr. Jonathan Drezner, team physician with the Seattle Seahawks, and also from the UW Medical Center. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in and joining us here on The Floor. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Jeff, I want to start with you. A lot being discussed at this summit. Of course, one of the main topics of conversation will certainly be what happened to Damar Hamlin. How did that impact the NFL and other sports in general?
Well, it's an important question, and it's one that we've asked ourselves a lot. How do we improve upon a situation which could have been tragic, but turned out to be a triumph? And that's a credit to Damar and to all the doctors and trainers who were there. We're fortunate. We spend a lot of time on our emergency action plans. We spend a lot of time practicing, rehearsing, ensuring that if a situation like this one presented itself, that people would know what to do. The challenge for us now is to take those learnings and share them more broadly. And so we want to spend a lot of time with other levels of football, other sports entirely, to emphasize the importance of being prepared, to understand sudden cardiac arrest, and have a plan in place so you know what to do, especially for our kids and our high schools.
Dr. Drezner, you work with athletes who are in the prime, tip-top physical shape. But for a moment, let's talk about younger athletes, kids and even teenagers. Does sudden cardiac arrest impact younger people, and is it rare or something that we really should be paying attention to?
It absolutely impacts younger people. In fact, sudden cardiac arrest is the leading cause of sudden death in young athletes during sports and exercise. So it's something that we should all pay attention to. Most of the time, sudden cardiac arrest occurs in young kids who have an underlying heart condition. They're unaware of it. Most of them don't have signs or symptoms of it, which emphasizes the importance of having an emergency action plan, people who know how to do CPR, people who know where an AED is, to save a life if there's an event that occurs.
As a parent, of course, we're all wondering, are there any warning signs ahead of time that your child might have something like that?
Yeah, about 1 in 5 kids who have a cardiac arrest will actually have a warning symptom or sign. They might pass out with exercise, maybe they complain of chest pain with exercise, or perhaps have a family history of someone with sudden cardiac arrest or an inherited genetic heart condition. But that means that 4 or 5 don't have any signs or symptoms, which means we either have to do better screening, which is part of the equation for prevention, or have emergency action plans in place with access to AEDs. They're life-saving.
Jeff, you touched on this a moment ago, but the NFL is doing a lot to get the word out to just sports in general, to athletes in general. What are you guys doing in order to try to get more people trained on how to do CPR?
Well, we put together a coalition called the Smart Health Sports Coalition with others, professional sports leagues, public health providers, and others, to try to raise awareness of this issue. There's a lot of people doing a lot of good work, from the AHA to the American Red Cross, whomever. We can use our platform to try to bring those groups together and then go to the different states and say, you should have, for every high school, a plan in place. You should have AED access, and coaches should be trained to use it. In case something like this happens, the states should have rules in place so that we know that our high school kids can be safe.
And Dr. Drezner, we don't have a mannequin here in front of us, but if somebody was ever in the position where they needed to give CPR, what are 1 or 2 things that should come to mind immediately?
Yeah, well, the first thing is recognizing it, right? So when you actually use CPR, so someone is collapsed and unresponsive, I think you need to think about sudden cardiac arrest. And then the steps are call 911, start chest compressions, and someone go get the AED.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Jeff, final question for you here. How did this impact you personally when you saw what happened to Damar?
Well, somebody who oversees health and safety for the sport, we're always looking for ways to improve. It made me even have greater appreciation, not just for the athletes who play our sport, but for the doctors and trainers like Dr. Drezner, who take care of them, who dedicate their lives to doing this. And then to think about what we could do to benefit our kids who don't necessarily have all the same resources we have at the NFL level.
Thanks again for getting the word out. This is so important. And as we mentioned, the Sudden Cardiac Arrest Survival Summit is going on now. This Friday, though, there is a survivors rally, which is open to the public. It's at the Town and Country Resort in the Fashion Valley area. We'll be out there live, in fact, during our 4 p.m. show. For more information on that, go to citizencprsummit.org. And for more information about the NFL's Smart Heart Sports Coalition, go to NFL.com. Gentlemen, thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Carla.